Welcome back to the channel, guys, and today we are finishing off the interesting sodas from Cracker Barrel reviews with the one that I am the most excited for. That's why I've saved it for last, and that is Sprecher's Maple Root Beer. Now, I mentioned this one in the very first review I did about a month ago, and I was very excited for it. I thought it was going to be the next one I reviewed in this little four-part series, I believe, and I decided to keep it to last because it seems the most down my aisle, because I grew up with my favorite soda being root beer, and maple root beer really just sounds like it's the perfect combination of everything. Now, I had to look into the brand, of course, because I had never heard of Sprecher. And interestingly enough, Sprecher is a company that was founded in 1985 out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and they're not necessarily a full-on soda company. They are also a brewery, so they make beer too, which I've never seen in my area, so maybe it's just a little local thing, which makes this even more interesting. That's what I love about the random things you find in the Cracker Barrel store, because they're very regionalized drinks for the most times. Now, this touts that it's craft soda made with maple syrup and cane sugar. Out of one bottle, which is the serving size, it's about 300 calories, 285, so that's a little high up there, but it's fine for now. This says it's naturally flavored. It's Fired Brewed, which is interesting. And when we look at the ingredients, we have carbonated water, cane sugar, natural flavors, maple syrup, natural caramel color, sodium benzoate for preservatives, and citric acid. Oh yeah, it says it right on the side too. Sprecher Brewing Company, Glendale, Wisconsin. Glendale, not Milwaukee. I was mistaken on that. And the website is SprecherBrewery.com. So, first and foremost, let's say a couple things about this, because I really dig the logo that's on here. It kind of reminds me of a Hogwarts house. And two, maple. I'm excited for this because, granted, it's a whole different state, but when I go up to Vermont, if you go to candy stores up there, they have like maple syrup lollipops, and as a kid, I was obsessed with those anytime we would take vacation there. Even a couple years, about 10 years ago, we went back up to Vermont, and as much as I was in my mid-20s at the time, wherever I was with my parents, I kind of forced us to go find a candy store because I needed those darn lollipops, and I brought a whole bunch home. I was a happy camper. Maybe I'll go to Vermont for vacation this summer. We're still trying to figure that one out. But let's open up the soda. Now, this has one of those interesting bottles that I know I've mentioned in the past, because it's very similar, if not the same, to the type of bottle that you get from like a Trader Joe's ginger brew. But as you can tell, that thing popped off very carbonated, and it has a kind of aggressiveness when you take this thing off. I don't know if it comes across on camera, but I did get a little bit sprayed on me the first time I opened it. I do like these bottles though, because they feel very old-fashioned. I'm going to play with this for a little bit. And they're like resealable. Like, instead of plastic bottles, let's get more of these out into the market. And it's interesting to see these, because like I've seen a lot of like glass bottles for things like whether it be beer or sodas and stuff like that, and only a few of them actually have tops like this. Now, to distract me from my fidgeting here, let's try this soda. So, offhand, it just smells like a root beer. It smells like a very fresh root beer. Like, very different than like a Barks, a Mug. In terms of not smelling like, I don't want to say cheaply made, but this, you could tell, is like a craft soda just by the scent. I'm intrigued to see, because it is with cane sugar and maple syrup, how good this tastes. So, let's try it out. And it's official. I need more of this in my life. So, offhand, it's as loud as that sounded when I first opened it. It's not really all that carbonated. It's very lightly carbonated. And I'm trying to figure out what the whole fire brewed means. I've never heard of a fire brew process for soda, for beer, for root beer, anything like that. The only thing I know of that's fire brewed isn't even brewed. It's like a fire grill. So there goes that point I had. But this soda tastes freaking fantastic. So it tastes like a nice, smooth root beer, but the addedness of that maple syrup into here adds a sweetness that really complements the root beer flavor. Right now, when you think of root beer, when you think of birch beer, when you think of sarsaparilla, the original flavor for that comes off of like having a little bit of a woodiness to it, if that makes sense. Hence the name like root beer. I believe it's like chicory roots in a lot of like traditional root beers and stuff like that because of the flavor is right there. And maple, being a product of nature, being a product of trees, really blends very, very well with this. I really want to see if I can order this online because it's fantastic. How much sugar is in here? 70 grams of sugar, 140% of your daily value. That's not super great, but you wouldn't even know, right? Because it doesn't taste overly sweet. Like, it has a sweetness to it, but the sweetness I'm getting out of there is like that maple flavor mixed with what you're getting from a traditional root beer flavor that just tastes overly better than normal. I am in love with this soda. And I don't say that about many things. I'm in love with my tea. I'm in love with peace for the world. I'm in love with, little things in life, right? And I think saying that about a soda just proves that point. Maple root beer by Sprecher, however you pronounce it, brewery out of Glendale, Wisconsin, is, on this point, probably one of my top 10 craft sodas I've ever tried. I'm just saying, if this had like a national release, I think it would be very, very popular. I love the flavor of this. I think if you are a root beer fan, if you want to try something different that's not too overly crazy, over the top, this might be something to pick up if you ever see it around. It's delicious. I don't know if I've ever tasted a better tasting root beer before. Maybe I have, maybe I'm not remembering. It's been a while since I've had a good root beer that isn't like a national chain brand root beer. But Sprecher's root beer, I think, especially with the maple to it, is fantastic. The natural cane sugar, the Fired Brewedness, which I don't know how that goes into the formulation of this, goes into the flavor. I should have probably researched that before doing that, but I only noticed that label as I was doing this review. And you know me, it's a one take and it's done type thing. So maple root beer, fantastic flavor, nice sweetness from your maple. Even though there's a lot of sugar in there, let's see what that mission statement was. Even though it's a little too late, it says, indulge in our famous maple root beer, skillfully crafted with real maple syrup for a subtle wintergreen essence, complementing its creamy finish in perfect harmony. And that really describes this soda perfectly fine. It hits everything you would want out of it. Like, it doesn't try to create a flavor that's very out there. And like I thought going into this, maple and root beer, to me, were a match that should have blended perfectly fine, and they've proven that here, that it is a fantastic drink. If you guys have had this before, I'm going to leave you with that. Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. As always, guys, thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Check out all my other videos, my jokes of the day, and I will catch you later. See ya. Bye.